Hello, Patriots colony. I hope you had a meaningful and memorable Memorial Day. We had a lot to contemplate this year. Every year, really, but this year was a little different. We're going to start off with our usual warm-up. And I hope by now you've more or less got this memorized. If this is your first time, I'm going to start off with our foundation. Feet about shoulder width apart, feet as parallel as we can get them. And again, if that causes you issues and you need to have your toes out a little bit, that's okay. Just remember that 70% rule. You only do 70% of whatever your capability is at this moment. And if you can't smile when you're doing it, you back off until you can. You have your feet as firmly connected to the floor and through the floor to the earth, like roots growing down. You can use those bubbling well spots of the heel of your forefoot for energetic connection. And you just focus on starting to relax everything, but you stay attentive, so it's relaxed but ready. Byway spot just in back of the center of the top of your head. Line attached there pulling you straight up, or an energetic connection attached there pulling you straight up. Stretching you upwards, making you taller, stacking your vertebrae on top of each other, giving your spine more of an L shape than that usual kind of curvy S shape. So your tailbone drops down, your hips move back a little bit, stomach flattens, lower back flattens. But if you have issues with your spine, or if that causes you discomfort, just relax into whatever feels most natural for you. Tops of your shoulders relax down a center line. They're parallel to the floor. So they're not up here, they're not slouched forward or pull back. They're just relaxed. Eyes and ears parallel to the floor. Back of the head rises up, chin tucks in a little bit, moves your head back over your shoulders so your head's nice and balanced on your shoulders. It's not tilted to the left, the right, the front, the back, or the corners. It's just right in the center, nice and balanced, so it's not causing you any extra effort to stay upright. You're to drop a line from that byway down through the perineum. It would hit the floor right in the middle of your foundation, and as best we can, we're going to stay centered over our foundation. Everything we do, if we shift all the weight over into one foot, that foot becomes our foundation, so there's no weight in the other foot, and it can easily just float up back to the center. You may notice if you try that, the more relaxed you are and ready you are, the easier that becomes. When you tense up, you start having other parts of your body have to compensate, and your balance is just not efficient anymore. You almost end up trying to fight to stay upright when you're just trying to relax to stay upright. Focus on your breathing. Let all the muscles in your face relax as you do. All the muscles around your eyes, your mouth, your ears, they all just soften as you inhale through your nose down to your diaphragm, expanding around here. When you exhale, you pull the pelvic floor up. You can breathe out through your nose or out through your mouth. If you breathe out through your mouth, you can just sigh. With that sound, you let whatever tightness or tension is inside your body just flow out and away from you. And you just let your mind come to rest on the sound of the air going in and out as you breathe. Changes in temperature and humidity of the air as you breathe in and out. And just relax and follow me. Let your arms float up with your palms facing. Turn your hand towards your face. As you press in, you press your head back a little bit to feel some movement in your neck. Make sure your elbows are dropped. Turn your hands, you press out. Arms expand outwards. So all the joints expand, but you keep softness in the elbows. You never fully extend them and hyperextend them. You just keep some softness there. Same thing when you bring your hands in. You don't fully compress. There's always going to be some bend in your knees as well. So inhale, and exhale, and inhale, and exhale, back to the center. Arms come up. This time one hand drops down. Bend in the wrist. Palm facing towards the floor. Other arm folds over. Lao Gong point. Lines up with upper dantian or third eye. Shoulder nice and relaxed. Going to keep the palm and the forehead lined up. You turn 70% of your range of motion. Everything else stays still. To the side, you come back to the center. Lower hand comes up. Upper hand drops down. It's an exhale and an inhale. Come back to the center. Arms come down. One more, focusing on your neck. You turn your head to one side. 70% of your range of motion. Drop your chin, let it roll across the bottom. Don't press it down. Comes back up to that center line. Go straight across. It's an exhale and an inhale. We're just going to reverse, go to the other direction. Back to the center. For shoulders, if you have issues with rotator cuffs or shoulders, if you've had shoulder replacements, that type of thing, make sure you follow whatever your physical therapist, your doctor, your surgeon, whatever guidelines they gave you. One kind of way to adapt sometimes is just to rotate your arms so your palms are facing behind you and make circles with your elbows and move your shoulders around a little bit. But again, stay in your comfort zone. I'm just going to let my shoulders roll to the front. And remember to breathe down to the diaphragm. And then circle back, shoulder rolls to the rear. Arms come up, press down, it's an inhale, and an exhale. Back to the center. Another one for your shoulders, your upper back, your upper chest. Arms come up, fingertips point straight up, right ankles hit your elbows, forearms come together, palms come together. If that causes you issues, just relax your elbows out and let yourself start and end with that position. But I'm going to come back to the middle. Inhale, arms come out. Exhale to the center. And when your arms are more or less even with your shoulders, you work some with the elbows. You reach your arms out, but keep some bend in your elbows. Arms expand outwards with that principle of slowing expansion and contraction. This is expansion, contraction. They just come back. It's an exhale out, inhale in. This time when your hands are coming back, when your fingers are pointed straight up, just pause there for your wrist. You let your hands tilt towards you and away from you, but you don't force it. You just let them tilt. And then towards and away from each other. It circles one way, circles the other way. Fold your fingers over, thumbs on the outside, nice soft tai chi fists. Come to rest by your hips. Against that expansion principle, Yang Sung, principle of Sung comes out. Hand opens up, curls, pulls back in. It's an exhale and an inhale. And just flex your fingers. We're going to do something in a little bit called rooting pine. And it involves this one. Remember, this is the one Harvard has in their book on Tai Chi that they call Tai Chi Anywhere. So as you inhale, you visualize all the joints in your fingers, hands, wrists expanding outwards. As you exhale, you just come back. So inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. One more. Just flex your fingers, come back, holding a ball, elbow of the upper arms drop lower than the shoulder. This is for your muscles in your back. Rotate your lower knee out, press up. Press this down, but you keep some bend in the elbows. So exhale and inhale. Back to the center. Last week we did this seated, and this is one, if you remember, I said it's really good to do this one sitting down because it lets you know how much of your body is moving. Because when I watch folks in class, sometimes they'll try to turn at the hips. When you do that, you put a lot of stress on your knees. So we're only going to turn from the hips up. Everything from the hips down is going to stay still. And I've got this hand on top. So I turn on that center axis till the hands line up with the hip on that side, then turn, keeping the palms facing. Come back to the other side. Just synchronize your breathing so you're inhaling in one direction and exhaling in the other. Back to the center, hands go over to the side. From now on, everything's going to involve a little bit more challenge for the balance. Remember, right now I'm centered right in the middle of the foundation. When I shift all my weight over to this foot, there's no weight in the other foot, so now this is my foundation. Stay nice, relaxed, and perpendicular over that foot. It's relatively easy to stay upright. Put the hands out to the side. Just step out however far you want. You want to feel some movement in your hip right in here. Come back to the middle, and then same thing other side. Short steps are okay. You don't have to step out very far. If you're okay with your balance, you just let your foot come out. You don't even have to touch it down, but again, stay in your comfort zone. You come back to the center, palms facing towards the floor like you're resting on a railing. Shift all your weight into one foot, hands go back a little bit. Empty foot goes forward, heel touches, hands come back to the center if you need to rebalance. Just touch your forefoot down, hands go forward, but you stay perpendicular over the weighted foot. You don't go into a warrior three pose. And the foot's going relatively in a straight line, meaning there's some bend in your knee, maybe a little bit more when it comes past the other leg. And you just synchronize your breathing so you're inhaling in one direction, exhaling in the other, or just breathe however you feel most comfortable. The important thing is to remember to breathe and to breathe down to your abdomen. Back to the center. Next couple are for your knees. Toes pointed towards the corners, a little bit of space between your heels, fists at your hips. Shift all your weight over into one foot. Going to punch with the hand opposite a foot that's going to reach out. And forefoot touches, or again, if your balance is pretty good, you don't even have to touch your foot down. If you don't want to, you can practice kicks. Just going to let it come out with the toe. It's an exhale on the way out, that's the yang part. An inhale on the way back, that's the yin part. Remember, yin is bringing energy in, yang is expanding energy out. Second for your knees goes into that bow and arrow stance. Remember, knees are pointed in the same direction as your toes, everything we do. Knee in the front's always going to be behind your toe. If you drop a line from the end of your knee, it'll hit somewhere at the base of your toes. So, shift your weight over either foot, it doesn't matter. Step up with the other foot and punch. You feel your weight shift from the back foot to the front foot as you do that. Just let all the joints expand. You get a really nice stretch with this one. Just come back to the center. Next three are for your ankles. Just shift your weight over. First it's heel and toe. And the same thing on the other side. And then pick a spot where maybe if you're in a room with boards, you can see where a couple boards come together, or just you want to do the same spot outside the inside. The foot touch as close to it as you can, because you want to focus on the ankle. You don't want to be doing this. That's the hip. And then the same thing on the other side. And then being very gentle with your hips, knees, ankles. Shift all your weight over. First you make a circle in one direction. And then the other direction. You're keeping your forefoot on the floor. Not doing it on the tips of your toes. If you have issues with your feet and toes, you really want to make sure you do it on the forefoot. Again, stay in your comfort levels. Do a little bit of balance. Just shift your weight from one side to the other. And then when you get all your weight in one foot, just relax down into it. Feel the heel of the other foot float up off the floor. And if you want, you can just let the toe float up off the floor. As you breathe, if you need to have your hand on a railing or on a chair, if you need to keep your forefoot on the floor and just visualize doing it, again, you adapt it to however you're feeling at this moment. You make this yours. You're not copying someone else. When I was doing road races, it was always important to remember when you're running to run your own race, not somebody else's. This time it's like your knee is floating up. Same thing the other side. If it helps, you just point your index fingers to the floor, your index and little finger to the floor. Sometimes folks find that helps them ground better in every sense of the word. Physically grounded, emotionally grounded. Same thing the other side. Just come back down. Bosun Mark has been based in New York for a long time. She's been teaching for many years. And she developed this rooting pine, and my teacher taught it to me after he learned it from Nick Grayson, who learned it from Bosun Mark. It's your posture, your balance, and breathing. And this one involves rocking, which is a very soothing thing. It's one I always am sure to teach the William & Mary kids I work with. Do it from the side. Remember, we have that visible line around the outsides of our feet. As I rock forward at my ankles, hips, that pendulum hanging down goes to a line just inside the one connecting the toes. When I come back, it's just inside the line connecting the heels. So it's basically rocking like this, keeping yourself grounded as you do it. But when you're doing it, you're kind of giving yourself a foot massage. You're really massaging the K1 acupressure point, the bubbling well. It's a kidney meridian. You're also, when you're paying attention to the bottoms of your feet, remember the studies that have done on balance, particularly at Harvard, found that one of the issues with balance is people over time start to lose track of how the bottoms of their feet connect to the earth. So with this, you're really focusing on how the bottoms of your feet feel as you're rocking forwards and backwards. As you rock forwards, you inhale. As you rock back, you exhale. Bring your hands out to the side like you're in the horse riding stance. Hands in. Press up. Bring one hand over so the Laogong point lines up with the byway spot. Shoulders nice and relaxed. The other hand is back at the horse riding stance position. Exhale to the front. Inhale. Inhale to the front. Exhale to the back. Sorry about that. Typically you would do about 3 of each or multiples of 3. Drop your hand down so Laogong point lines up with the upper dantian or the third eye. And it's not touching, there's space in between. Then it comes down to the middle dantian, and with this one, just play with it, see if it feels better with your hand resting on your chest or if your hand out. I get more feedback, more tingling when the hand is out a little bit. Down to the lower dantian. And back out to the side in that horse riding stance. Come up. Press up. And then same thing on the other side. Inhale as you rock forward. Exhale as you rock back. Upper dantian. Then down middle dantian. Lower dantian. Back out to that horse riding stance. Bring your hands in, and this is the one we do in the warm-ups these days. As you rock forward, you visualize your fingers expanding outwards, your hands expanding, and then you come back. It's an inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. We're just going to do 3, but you can do however many you want when you're doing this on your own. And you make gentle fists. Arms come out to the side. You're still rocking to the front and back. As you come forward, arms expand outward, so there's expansion in the shoulders, elbows, wrists, and then they come back. Again, it's that principle of sung. Inhale, exhale, but stay in your comfort zone. And then back down. The next part is basically a massage of your lower back. So you reach behind, make a fist, grab your wrist as you're rocking. First you make circles in one direction, massaging your lower back. And then you reverse, going in the other direction. And then back out to the side. Fist with the other hand, reach behind, and then we'll do the same thing. And then reverse. Hands back out to the side. You slowly come back to the center so you're no longer rocking. You can use this as a standing meditation for however long you want. So it's a relatively simple, relatively short routine that you can do. At the end of it, remember, you want to balance everything out. Come back to the center. I know when we were doing the classes live there were folks who wanted to learn a specific Tai Chi routine. The simplest one I know is the Sun style. And I know some folks are really used to Yang style. Principles are the same. And just think of it like when you're first learning math, you don't just learn addition, you also learn subtraction, division, multiplication. Think of the families that way. They're all different kind of ways of doing the same thing. But the Sun style that we do in class was developed for pain management for lower back pain, which was why I learned it years ago. And actually, should knock on wood, I haven't had to go back to a chiropractor since I learned this particular form. Whenever I have some twinges, I'll stop and, if possible, depending on where I am, I'll do this form. But a lot of what we do in the warm-ups, you do in this form. So you have your toes pointed towards the corner. And the footwork for the first movement, and we're just going to do the first part of it today. So weight shift into your right foot, you rotate the left foot, you step up just a little bit, shift your weight, rotate back foot, it comes up, and your feet are magically shoulder width apart without you really having to do anything. So just watching me from the back and following along, it's a weight shift, a step, a weight shift, and a step. Do it a couple more times. Step, 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 step. The hands, I'll face you first. They're going to come up and down with the fingertips trailing. When they get about even with your waist, they start to come in. When they get almost to your body, they start to come up. When they get almost to your shoulders, they reach out. And then relax back down. So it's almost like you're drawing a circle in front. Arms come up, down, in, up, out, relax. Up, down, in, out, relax. One more time. If you put the hands and feet together, and again I'll face you first so you can see it. Arms come up, down. As they come down, there's a little bit of a bend in your knees. As your hands come towards you, you shift your weight. As your hands are coming up, you step, reach, down. So you wind up your legs almost in horse riding stance, arms out in the front. Looks very much like this from the side, except your hands are like this. Face the other way. Let your arms, get your feet ready. Arms are just going to float up with your palms facing and down. Knees bend a little bit. Hands come in towards your waist as you shift your weight right. Rotate that left foot. That weight in the left foot. Hands come in. They're almost to your body. You start to step and shift your weight as your hands come up. Hands reach out. Back foot comes up. You settle back down. Come up. And down. Weight shift and a step as the hands come in. Hands come up. Weight shift and a step. Hands reach out and settle back down. The next movement is very simple. You're here like this, and it's one we've done in the 5 elements when we've done that. It's for metal. It's open and close. It's an inhale and an exhale. So let's just do a few of these, just because it's very relaxing for one thing. But gives you practice breathing with your whole body, because you're not just moving your arms. Notice when I inhale, I get a little taller. When I exhale, my knees bend a little bit more, keeping the knees behind the toes. So when you put those two movements together, you start off toes towards the corner, just like we do in the warm-ups. A little bit of space between the heels, shoulders nice and relaxed, arms float up with your palms facing. Elbows lead the way. Fingertips trail, a little bit of a bend in your knees. Shift your weight right, rotate on that left forefoot as your hands come in towards your hips. When they get almost to your hips, you step forward. Hands rise up your body as you shift your weight. You reach out as the right foot comes up. And you settle back down in the middle for open and close. And at the end of open and close, there's a movement called single whip, and that'll be the last movement we add today. So we're open and close You're going to shift your weight into your left foot and turn on that center axis. Right heel naturally comes up, so you can rotate on the forefoot. And just take a little step towards the corner and shift your weight. I'm going to do it in the other direction so you can just mirror it. So you're shifting your weight into your left foot, you're stepping out with your right foot, shifting your weight into what is essentially a bow stance. If I face away from you, it's a weight shift left, turn on that center axis, right heel rises up, little step, and a weight shift, and both feet are nice and sealed to the floor. Most of your weight's in this front foot, but there's still a fair amount of weight in the back foot. The hands, it's like parting a curtain. There's the end of open and close. As you turn, your arms extend outwards just a little bit. It keeps them in the elbows. You turn your palms out. The right hand goes a little ways, the left hand goes all the way across, and your eyes follow that left hand. So if I mirror you, turn towards your right, extend your arms. Both hands go palm out, right hand goes a little ways, the left hand goes all the way across, and your eyes follow that hand. So, put it all together. Shift your weight left, turn towards the right corner, a little step in that direction. Seal that foot, extend outwards, turn your palms out, hands separate. So you wind up looking like this. Let's do all three of those. I'll face the other way. Honestly, it doesn't really, we're not in a competition, so it doesn't really matter left versus right. For this particular form, you do everything equally left and right. The only thing that's different is they do lead off with the left foot, which is pretty typical in Tai Chi forms. Some forms you already start with your feet separated, so if that works better for you, just coming up and down, open, close, without bothering with all this part, that's okay too. Again, adapt it to yourself. You're playing jazz, you're going to improvise for yourself, but you're going to stay within the principles of posture, balance, and breathing. You just want to keep it as simple as you can. Just relax. Let your arms float up with your palms facing. They come down with the elbows leading the way and fingertips trailing. Shift your weight right, step left. Kind of making that circle with your hands, or reach out, come back, open, close. Shift your weight left, a little step to the right corner. Shift your weight, palms out, hands separate in the single whip. We'll do it a couple more times. Arms come up and down. Step, reach out, step, come back, open, close, weight shift left, a little step right, extend your arms, eyes follow that left hand going all the way across. One more time. Arms come up and down. Step, step. Open, close, in a single whip, and back. Okay. We'll do the short kind of cool down where you come up on your toes, you tense everything up. As you inhale, exhale, just let everything relax, all the muscles soften. Inhale, exhale. One more. A little bit more balance, just bring one foot up and let your hand on that side drop on your thigh. Don't hit it hard, you just let your hand freely drop on it. And if you're using this for a balance exercise, you can just hold it for however long you want. And pay attention to how the bottom of your foot feels on the floor. If you need to have your hand on a chair or on a railing, that's okay. And then at the end, balance everything out. Inhale up, and exhale down. Back to the center. Thank you for joining me. Stay safe, healthy, and well. Work on the form, and we'll review that next time. We'll add a move or two to it. And like I said, that form has been really helpful for back pain for me. And I hope it is helpful for you as well. Take care. See you next time. Bye-bye.